Hello, welcome back to my Thaumcraft 4.1 tutorial series. So in this episode, I'm going to show you how to set up a mana bean farm. Mana beans are useful for a lot of things. You can use them to craft Salus Mundus in your arcane work table. You can cook them in your alchemical furnace and get aspects for your essentia jars. You can also chuck them in your crucible, and that's nice if you want to balance your aspects exactly, because a mana bean has exactly one type of aspect and only one of that aspect, so you can get even amounts. Really helpful if you're doing, making golem stuff, because if you throw files in there, you're going to get 8 of an aspect, and most of the golem recipes want 5, and 5 is just a bad number to work with mathematically. If you, empty your water and clean up the flux, it's not that bad. In fact, I changed the water to be over there so he'd have to run back and forth. That was just to give me time so I can put dirt there, break the dirt, and not have the dirt fall in the crucible and give me more aspects I didn't want. I was tired of, fighting with him over he's too fast filling up the water. It also opens up some space over here we might use later on. Okay, but let's get started on our mana bean farm. So the first thing you need for mana beans, a mana bean farm, are some mana beans. And we learned a few episodes back, I'm not sure when, that mana beans are found in magical forests. So this is a portal from the portal gun mod, by the way. It's not Thaumcraft, but it's an easy way to get back and forth between places, so I used one. So I have a portal over here to this magical forest, because my base is like 70, 80 meters that way, maybe 200, I don't know, it's far away. So this is the magical forest. You can tell that by pressing F3. About 2/3 down the screen on the left says B, Magical Forest. If you haven't used F3 before, that's the biome type you're in. Magical Forest are where mana beans grow. It's got this kind of slightly off-color grass. It's a little bit brighter. That's how you can tell pretty easily it's a Magical Forest biome. So there we go. There's a mana bean. So let's get some dirt. And let's chop that down. Okay, and you may be wondering, well, why would I want, a mana bean farm when I can just go over here to this magical forest that I have a nice portal to and just collect mana beans? Well, the answer is mana beans only grow if they're chunk loaded. And if you don't know what chunk loaded means, it's not really that important. It just basically means Minecraft only runs in the places where players are. So if I'm not in this world and near things, that part of the world is not loaded, it's not running. So way far away in that magical forest, those mana beans are not growing, they're never going to grow. That's just the nature of Minecraft. Now there are some mods that add chunk loaders. I prefer chicken bones chunk loaders, but maybe you just want to play straight Thaumcraft, you don't want chunk loaders, that's fine. It just means that it'll be easier to have your farm near your base so that your farm grows when you're nearby. Or, maybe you're chunk loading your base in nearby areas and you have the farm there because of that. So, either way. Okay, now that we have a few mana beans, how do we actually plant them? Well, you can plant them on oak trees, but you can only plant them on oak trees in a magical forest. So now you're probably thinking, well, this isn't a magical forest. Do I have to relocate my base? The answer is no. You can actually change a biome to be a magical forest biome. Not the entire biome, but just kind of parts of it. And you can do that by planting silverwood trees. If a silverwood tree grows with a pure node inside, which happens just kind of at random, if you get enough silverwood saplings, you will have some pure nodes, which will generate a magical forest biome right nearby. So let's get some silverwood saplings. And I already showed you what silverwood trees look like. They're those kind of blue, gray, silverish trees. They look kind of nice. So if you get some saplings, we can go plant them. I'm just going to plant them over here. We'll plant a few just right in here. We're just going to turn this area kind of into a magical forest place. And by the way, I'm planning a lot of these. You don't have to. Um, like 2 or 3 is probably all you need. I'll show you what it looks like when we get them grown. In fact, let's show you a nice tool that'll help you. You cannot use bone meal on silverwood trees. It doesn't work. But there is a tool we can use which will work. And it's one of these artiface tools. Let me get my Thaumcraft. This bookcase is from Bibliocraft, by the way. It's not Thaumcraft either if you don't have Bibliocraft. Alright, so on the Artifice tab of your Thaumcraft, there's all these tools, and all these tools have special things. Here's the Hoe of Growth, and before I get into the Hoe of Growth, I want to correct something I said about the Axe of the Stream, or maybe add to it. The Axe of the Stream is very nice in that it makes the leaves cut down faster. So the Axe of the Stream is very awesome for that. I'll show you how that works in a minute. But let's get this Hoe of Growth. Okay, I need paper and scribing tools. Did I get a note for this already? Okay, I didn't. Alright, where's my Thaumcraft? Alright. Hoe of Growth, the balance of nature. Alright, I'll be right back after I have researched this Hoe of Growth. Okay, I'm back and I've got the research for the Hoe of Growth. So back in the Thaumcraft on the Artifice tab, Hoe of Growth, we see that it's just like a regular hoe, except when you till fields, it'll work on a 3x3 area rather than just a single block. And when you use it on crops or other plants, it's going to act as bone meal. So that's really nice. It does use its durability up though. It might even be able to grow plants that normal bone meal can't. That's going to be where the Hoe of Growth can grow silverwood trees. That's one thing specifically that you can do with it. So we need a Thaumium hoe, order shard, diamond, entropy shard, and a greatwood log. So let's see here. Where is my... Alright. Got some Thaumium. Got some sticks. Got some diamonds. Greatwood logs. Order and entropy shards. Alright, so step 1 is going to be to make a Thaumium hoe. So a Thaumium hoe, just like all the other vanilla tools. Oh, I already have one. Never mind, I'll just use this one. Alright, so that's our infusion object. Let me keep my Thaumcraft over here. Alright, Greatwood log against entropy shard. Greatwood against entropy. Diamond against order. Okay. Greatwood log on the left. Entropy on the left. Diamond on the left. And order on the left. And I've got extra items just in case this goes horribly, horribly wrong. Now I think all of these tools, the instability is negligible, so unlikely to do anything, but you never know. Better to be safe. Alright, it wants 8 herba, 8 meto, and 8 terra. I should have all of those, but let's see here. Herba, 64. Yep. Terra. Yep, 8, and I had no memory. Meadow. That makes sense. Alright. Meadow. Got 17. By the way, if you do have instability, there can be times where you need more than an aspect, more of an aspect than you might otherwise need. So if it doesn't have enough to get what it needs right away, if there's some instability, it knocks an item off, it may need extra. So let's get some extra terra before we start. I'm just going to cheat some in real quick. Alright, so where is a wand? Here's a wand. Okay, that looks good. I really like Layla for this because I find it easier to see these words at the top than I do to see those symbols over there. It's kind of far away. Alright, now try to watch this. Got my shard, got my other shard, diamond, great wood log. Okay. Instability was negligible, so I expected that would go pretty easily. Alright, let me get rid of some of this junk in my inventory. And we'll go get us our hoe of growth. Nice. Let's go back to daytime and I'll show you how it works. So, you can see we've got a couple silverwood trees. Do any of them have nodes in them? I'm not seeing any nodes right now. So I see the nodes down in the charging station, but I don't see any nodes over here. So far these trees have not been particularly helpful to me, except, I'm wrong. See the bee changing? I'm in shrubland, magical forest. Shrubland, magical forest. So although I don't see any nodes, apparently you don't have to have a node to generate. Yeah, I'm wearing my goggles of revealing, so I should be seeing it if they were there. Okay. Alright, gonna get me a scythe real quick. I don't see any nodes. Thought they might be hidden, but I don't see them. Okay, that's fine. So, what do you do with a hoe of growth? Well, if you right-click on a sapling, look at that, instant. Now there's a node. Okay, there's no space for this one to grow. That's why it didn't work. There's no space for it to grow, it can't grow. Alright, a couple of these look like they do have nodes up there, so, yeah. The nice thing about silverwood trees is if they grow nodes, usually nodes grown in silverwood trees aren't that great. They're nice because they're an easy early game mechanic to bring nodes closer to your base, but for charging your wand, for relocating them, I don't find them that helpful. I find it easier to go find your own nodes, bottle them up, bring them to your basement. So, alright. Now, let's take some of these trees down. Oh, and do you see the difference in the grass color? Much brighter green over here in the magical forest than there is in the shrubland. So, if you don't plant your beans in the magical forest, they're just going to fall off the tree. Alright, so let me show you about the axe of the stream, because it's very nice in what it does. So, it doesn't chop the tree from the top down. I was wrong about that. What it does is it chops the farthest block away that it feels is connected to the tree. So I don't know quite what his algorithm is, but if you're in a big forest with giant trees, like magical forests seem to grow these really gnarly, crazy, giant super trees, and so they can cut down trees that you might think are a different tree, but the axe doesn't. So, alright. And the nice thing is it makes the leaves decay way faster. So, let's see here. And if you right click instead of left click, it does it faster at a cost of enhanced durability. So there we go. We got some nodes. We broke the node. Look at how fast the leaves are decaying. That is a really handy thing for the axe of the stream. It means I can get saplings faster. It means I can get the leaves to go away faster. It's just really handy. And, like I said, it's the farthest block away that the axe thinks is connected to the tree. So I can start in the middle. And do you see it cutting the tree down to the right? So it thinks that's part of this tree. You know, I don't know quite what the algorithm is, but that's okay. And that sound was me breaking some nodes. So, you know, that's a nice way you can break some nodes and get some of these ethereal essence. You're not going to get very much because generally pure nodes that you grow in a silverwood tree aren't going to have very many aspects. Just got a silverwood sapling, one more, so that was nice. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and cut these down off camera, and I'll be back when I finish that. One thing I forgot to mention, you want to give the trees some time to do their work. It's not going to just be instant that as soon as they grow, they'll change the biome to a magical forest. But they will do so. So you can see magical forest over here, no magical forest right in here. The grass color is a pretty good indicator of what biome you're in. And again, if you're not quite sure, press F3. I'm in shrubland. Here's some magical forest. And you want to have a decent area of magical forest. See, I mean, there's this one couple spots right in here. That's shrubland going back into here. Farther than I thought, actually. So, okay, yeah. There's still dark grass. And this looks like the last spot of... Maybe not. Okay, so, the grass color isn't 100%. Or maybe I just can't tell. But you want to get a good area of magical forest before you start. And also, when you cut down these shimmer leaves that are going to grow because you planted these silverwood trees, cut them with shears to get the plant rather than getting quicksilver. If you break them with your hand or anything else, you get quicksilver. Quicksilver is nice, but you can smelt cinnabar for that, and cinnabar is everywhere. These shimmer leaf flowers, aren't everywhere. So, alright, gonna finish cutting down these trees. Be back in a minute. Okay, so now that you cut out your trees, you've got your magical forest area. You might want to expand a little bit. You might see some dark areas here. If you've got some more, silverwood saplings, maybe you want to plant another tree. See if you can get that to change too. If you find your beans falling off your tree and you can't see why, it's probably because you're on the boundary of a magical forest and whatever biome you were in. So, there we go. I'll plant a couple more of those just to see what happens. Yeah. Might want to give them some time, and it might be better to space them out rather than doing what I did, place them all close together. So, I would like to try to make sure enough of this area is a magical forest before we start. By the way, if I didn't mention this, you break them with the left click using the shears, not right click as if you were shearing a sheep. I don't really know why, just that's what it is. Okay. Back in a flash. Okay, once you've got your area cleared out for your magical forest, and by the way, I don't think you have to do it as excessively as I did. I would just start by making some trees, kind of like this. So it's just oak wood. I'm planting as if it was a tree. Giving some space to run around in. Golems, as you will find out, are a bit difficult. They're a little dumb. They can't path around very well. They need level ground and open space to find their way. If they don't have it, it just doesn't work. So, take your mana bean and put it on your tree. And the reason I put it on the second level is so that the golems can walk beneath it. And you probably won't start out with this many. I didn't think I could cheat these in. I thought I had to actually go get them, so I got 3 from the forest to actually show you, but it turns out if I use NEI, I can cheat them in. Just gives me a random aspect rather than giving me a specific aspect. And by the way, it doesn't matter what kind of bean you plant. When you harvest them, you will get just a random bean. Doesn't matter what you plant. These all happen to be Terra beans. In fact, let me see here. Yeah, now it generates a Tutamen bean, so it's random from NEI what I get, but it doesn't matter. Whatever bean you plant is not what you're going to get back. Well, it could be, but it's not necessarily what you're going to get back. So there you go. That's how you plant mana beans on trees. Now, if you see any of them pop off, in fact, let's go over here somewhere I'm sure is a shrubland. Still. Alright, here we go. You can't plant them. Now, you may be able to plant them and they might pop off. So if you put your tree on a magical forest, like here, this should be. I can plant the bean, but it falls off. The bean is not in a magical forest area, so it's going to fall off, it's not going to grow. I don't know quite when that happens, but it will happen. So if you see your beans just popping off like that, it means your bean is not in a magical forest biome and you need to plant some more silverwood trees. Sorry about that, I hit the wrong key. Okay, so now what do we do with these things? Well, once you plant them, you can harvest them just like you did in the forest. But you don't want to harvest them right away, because if you do that, you just get a bean back. And notice I planted a Terra bean, I got back an air bean. Same thing, when this bean popped off, that may not be the same thing. But I got an air back, and I may get something else. Here's a Velatus bean, not sure if that was a cut bean or what, but I planted all Terra beans, that's what I got from NEI. But I got a random one when I cut it. But like I say, you don't want to grow them, you don't want to cut them right away, they need to grow. If they're not fully grown, you only get one back. If you only get one back, it's not much of a farm. Now, you'll get either 1 or 2 beans from a fully grown manapod. Those things are called, by the way, manapods. So, what we need to do is wait for them to grow. Well, you're probably wondering if we can use that lamp of fertility. Sorry, lamp of growth. And the answer is yes, we totally can. So, let me go steal that real quick. Alright, and let's see here. Looky here, a bean popped off. This is a shrubland. So there we go. So I didn't have everything planted quite right. So if you come up with this and you have some of your beans that are just falling off, either leave a tree spot blank or plant another silverwood tree. Those are your options. But let's move on. Let's get some dirt. And centering it's kind of nice. I like that. Just one more taller. One more block tall than that was. Alright. So in addition to putting your lamps on top of something, they can also hang from things. Look kind of nice like that. I like that. So, like all of your other farms, you need some place for the golems to put stuff. It's probably going to be a chest. And these are just the same golems we used for the regular crops. We need a harvest golem to harvest the crops, and we need a gather golem to gather things up. I don't know why he's flipping out about this stuff over here. It's odd. Alright, not important. So, let's get some golems. Now, since they don't really do much, they're only going to carry 1 bean at a time, unless you have a massive farm, I don't think it's really that important to have a special type of golem for this farm. I'm going to put this guy in the center, and I'm realizing now I set up the farm wrong. I should have had 1 block here because that's 1, 2, 3. Oh, that should be okay. Never mind, that should be okay. This should be the maximum radius that he can harvest from. Remember, harvest golems have a range of 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and there we go. And don't plant your trees taller. They can only reach things at their eye level or 1 block above. So space to walk around, beans, that's where they can go. Alright, now the gather golem doesn't really matter. I'm going to put him on the left side of this chest, but, doesn't really matter. And we'll give them a gather core, and a harvest core, like we've seen before. Alright. Make sure I did that right. Yeah, he's a gatherer. Alright. So, now all we need is some herba essentia, which we can set up our mirror for. I'm just going to grab some herba essentia and put it in a jar, because that's just easier for demonstration purposes. Alright. And I believe these jars can be like 16 blocks away, so yep, there it goes. Alright, so we're going to see the lamp of growth is going to accelerate the growth of the mana beans, and very shortly you will see what a fully grown looks like, and he's going to go harvest it. I hope. Be careful when you put your farms too close to each other. If their ranges overlap, sometimes they help each other, which may not be what you want. So, just a thought. Come on, Lamp of Growth, hurry up. I wonder if we can use multiple Lamp of Growths. Let's find out. Just go crazy with these things. Alright. Okay, here we go. Alright, he harvested a bean. Uh-oh, we forgot something. We didn't give him an order upgrade. Without an order upgrade, he's not going to replant things. So, better get him an order upgrade so he replants the beans. So there we go, a Tutamen bean. Shouldn't be too much long before another one grows. Let's take him down for a minute. You can see they're bigger in size. There are 3 stages of growth. They're pretty subtle, so I can't tell if these are fully harvested. It looks like Wayla is not fully compatible with these, but I'm betting a couple of those are grown. So let's go ahead and see if he wants to harvest them. Aha, he does. So, and he replanted. Perfect. Okay, so that one was fully grown. Now, remember, they won't always get you a second bean, so he won't always have something to gather, but you've got a pretty good, chance of getting more, especially if you have a Lamp of Growth nearby. Obviously, 5 might be overkill. I'm not sure how much they stack or if they stack, but I'm only using 1 and in my actual game, and it grows pretty well. If you have a chunk loader and keep things loaded overnight, the farm works really well. So I don't even really need to keep it filled with herba to run well. I've got plenty of beans, but it's going to be random with what you get. So what do we have so far? So we've got a Praecantatio, Spiritus, Potentia, and Meadow. So Mortos and Perfodio. So, you get a lot of things, and oh, here's a good point. A single chest is a bad place to store this. There are at least 50 kinds of mana beans. We're going to want, at minimum, a double chest if you're just playing vanilla. I think I used either an iron chest or a gold chest, so from the iron chest mod, but we can use a double chest and it works pretty well. Okay, so there you have it, an automated mana bean farm. Have a good one.